Good evening, welcome. My name is Kwabena. I want to share with you today what I have termed selfishness, corruption, and entrepreneurship. Selfishness, corruption, and entrepreneurship. Corruption is a word that we we hear almost every day on the news, on the radio, on the internet. We were growing up, you heard politicians say corruption and integrity, things like that. We heard them. And anytime we hear those words, we link them to politicians. Selfishness, we hear them usually from the preachers, from the churches, that you don't have to be selfish, you have to be selfless, and things like that. Now, if you start a business in our country, when you become an entrepreneur, you will deal with these two things: the corruption and the selfishness. You will deal with them. Now, how well you're able to navigate your way through will decide the kind of person you will become. When you are very young and ambitious and sometimes naive, you will not want to pay attention to these two things and their impact on our development as a continent, their impact on our development as a people. The selfishness. If selfishness is in the culture, as human as we are, people would only want to look for their interests. And I would not say that is not evil. I don't think that it's evil to look for your interests. It's always good to look for something that will benefit you. That's why you want to go to school. That's why you want to become better. That's why you want to get more, money, peace, success. They are good. That is, so long as you use them with the good things of society. But if you have to steal what we all have to share, if you have to take hold of what we all have to benefit from, then your selfishness is extreme. And corruption and selfishness, I think that they are linked. They relate to a very large extent. And they are within each of us and every one of us, and they are also within the culture, within the society. Now, some societies have been able to, manage it a little because, they try to establish some values in their people, some belief systems in their people, which have helped them to value human lives, to value the lives of the other, to become fair to a large extent. And then, if you look at it, their society also has some systems and some structures. They're able to track some things. They have better data to be able to identify who is doing wrong, and they are swift in punishing. Now, where we live in Africa, in Ghana, the values that we have to have, we are still building the value system in our society. And then we also are building the structures that can get a lot of accurate data, and the structures that can punish people if they go wrong fairly. Now, you start as an entrepreneur, you start as a business person. You have to deal with the selfishness in yourself. The selfishness, if you go to do something, you are not desperate just to get what will benefit you. Now, the culture we are coming from, if you look at the leadership, in every sector, if you look at the people who lead us, the people who teach us, the people who inspire us, I dare say that majority of them really have not been that much selfless in fighting for the common interests of our people. And so you're a young man, you're looking for a project from a government institution, and you go there and you see that they really don't care whether you're a young man or you're not a young man. They are only looking for their interest, what will benefit them. And when people do things at that level, sometimes you get shocked when you look at some prominent person and big in society, and you, young man, you go there to look for a project or a business, and you hear the kind of words that they say, the kind of things that they say, and the kind of dealings that they would want to do with the average young man who wants to do business. It's amazing. Now, if you did not develop your knowledge, if you did not develop your philosophy beyond what the culture told you, your understanding of business is that it's normal for people to look for their interest. They call something what is in for me. It's normal for people to ask you for that, and so long as it doesn't eat into your profit, you are fine with it. Things like that, because we are brought up in this culture where people are technically or most often just self-focused, selfish. A lot of our people are selfish. Why I say that is that if you look at the value we place on another person, you see that we don't really care. But if it has to do with us, we will do everything to make sure that we get what is in for us. So it means that when you start the business, these are the things that you are going to deal with yourself first. There is a high tendency that your persuasion is also just to go for things that will only benefit you, without thinking of the consequences on your character, on your reputation, and even the consequences on the another person, on the country. You are not this kind of thinking. They don't come readily to all of us. They don't come readily. So a high number of us are just self. Now, when it comes to going for funeral or your car spoils on the road, so you get people to help you. Maybe let's go and eat. People will just eat, let's share their food with you, or let's go and party. But when it comes to things that will make you better, that will make you become more successful, most people will be hesitant if they have to be the ones to help you to do that. And for me, that is where the selfishness comes in. It's not good for you to think that if it's in your terrain to help somebody to succeed, you will not do it unless you get something. And this is a common psyche in a lot of people. It's not only in the young people, it's in the middle people, it's in the old people, it's in the culture, it's in the leadership, it's in Why do you think they complain of corruption? They complain of corruption because people basically are highly self-centered. What do you think we talk about people so much corrupt? They are only corrupt because they only think of what will benefit them, and they don't care what the country benefits. They don't even have any value, belief system. They don't even have any philosophy beyond themselves. And so if you are like that, your intelligence is even limited, because you can't see beyond yourself. It has to be something that will benefit you. And sometimes they don't care the values that they deal with. And so you want to start a business as an entrepreneur, you go there and you're looking for a contract. If your philosophy is that, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Once I get my contract and I put something on it and it doesn't hurt anybody, I'm ready to pay them and get my project. And sometimes it's not just the government institutions, it's almost across board. Your friend introduces you to a project and he's looking for 10%. Another person gives you a connection and they are legitimately waiting for you to give them money. This is what I call the selfishness, and this is what I call the corruption. Now, you as a business person, or you who you say you want to do business, how are you going to navigate your way through this? How are you going to make sure that these kind of attitudes will not destroy you? You will not become you will not become destroyed having gone through this. Now, my caution is that it's that much prevalent, and it's not only in our country, it's almost everywhere in the world. Now, you are able to do well and to reduce this kind of hazards, because they are hazards anyway. They are a threat to your future, not as a person alone, but the threat to the future of the company you want to build, and they are even threat to the future of the country that we live in, or the continent that we live on. And so you would, if you want to commit to build a business, you don't want to be the person who will spend all his life or her life not being certain of what they are not ready to do or what they are ready to do. Don't be clouded, don't be blind by the selfishness that is in all of us. The first tendency that you think about is, your friend says that, oh, maybe I need a land to buy. Now, you know somebody who can help that friend to buy the land. The friend is saying, oh, the land is 50,000 Ghana cedis. Maybe the one who's selling the land is saying 50,000 Ghana cedis. Now, you go to your friend to tell the friend that, oh, I have found a land and it's 60,000 Ghana cedis. And people call this business. It's not business. Your friend asks you, I want to buy a land, can you help me? The best we can do is just do the introduction and stay out. Just do the introduction and stay out. And if you think that you want to do that service for your friend and charge, just tell him that, listen, at the land, I know somebody who sells the land, but I will take this commission for doing the introduction. Then your friend knows that it's a clear business that you're doing. But what you see is that people will not be straightforward. They think that they are smart, so they will connect you to whoever is selling it, and then they will go behind and take some bit of money. It's selfishness. You don't have personal philosophy. You cannot do anything for free. You cannot do anything beyond yourself. That will destroy you. And it's a common philosophy. You pick somebody to work with you, this is what they believe in. Sometimes you send them to go and buy something, and they add something to it. They add something to the invoice. And for most of them, it doesn't mean anything. They are men, they are women, they are older women, they are older men. It's prevalent. And it's because of the quality of information that people have. So people think that when I do some kind of introduction for you, or when you trust people and you send them somewhere, they think that you're stupid. Why? Because they will not do the same thing. They would rather be the one go and do it themselves. And so people have raised their self-interest so much that when you're doing business, by the time you see it, you have lost a lot of money. You've been screwed, because people will even not give you authentic information, the right kind of information, because they have to tag themselves to the benefit of whatever you're discussing with them. But if you're an entrepreneur, you want to start rightly. You would want to get a lot of things clearly set in your mind. You would want to understand much of the journey that you have embarked on. And one of the things that you would want to do is you want to reduce the selfishness, the selfishness in terms of things that you do that affect people negatively. The things that when people find out, they will ruin your character, they will ruin your reputation, and you will have to go back and defend it and say that I was doing a business, and I know that it was not the business that you were doing. You were just being mischievous, and you were just being a cheat. And it's because it's normally acceptable. People do it. People don't get to question them. People believe that it's normal. It is not normal for you to just do everything only when it will benefit you. And what I'm saying is that because we are also part of the same culture, that thing is in us. It is in us. It is in me. It is in you. It is in the culture. And so you see the leaders, they do something, they don't do it for the benefit of their people. If you raise yourself so high, you become selfish. And it also means that you don't have value for the others. That's why you are so much occupied with yourself. The people who are so much corrupt, they are changing documents, they are doing this, they are doing that. You can easily be introduced to that, and you even believe that that is the right thing to do. People even call that as business. They think that it's business, and if it's business, you just play the ball. And a lot of people think that that is business. It may be business from the beginning for you, but if you set up, or if you set off like that, you destroy yourself. You destroy yourself because you don't get to go through the processes to become skilled, to become wise, to become knowledgeable, to build a network, because you are ready to cut any corner to do anything for the money and for the fame and for the privilege. The selfishness, the corruption, they are only linked to that. Most of it is the money, is the prestige, is the position. Just it's the money, is the material possession. But you don't need to do those. If those are part of your character, you are doing something for anybody. If you want to charge and it's business, charge them, let them understand it. If you make them believe that you're doing it for free, then do it for free. If you have to give invoice for anybody, make sure that you are clear. You are clear on what you're charging for the labor and what you're charging for the material. And don't go behind it trying to loop up everything. As much as we can, let's be as honest and as clear to whoever we deal with. It helps us to become a better person. And you will be able to do more when you have a character that people can trust. You'll be able to do more when you put others first, the interests of the country first, the interests of your friends first, the interests of the people first. When you give respect and dignity to people, when you give the information as it is, when you are not trying to hedge the information because you want to use it against them. A lot of people believe that, and they think that that is business. I think that you will struggle. When you are naive, your actions will be naive. When you are uninformed, your actions will be uninformed, because we start a lot of this world the confusion. If you're confused about a lot of things, those kind of confusion, or that confusion will stay with you for a long time. And so if your understanding of doing business or become an entrepreneur is just for yourself, and you're ready to cut any corner at all costs to get the money, to get the business, and screw people, lie everywhere, you have wrong understanding of what it takes to build business. You have wrong understanding. And if you have wrong understanding, it will work against you eventually. It will destroy you. You will be in delay if you do that. So some people start businesses and they think like they were smart, because they were trying to cut corners and cheat this person and move here and maneuver. You just watch them. Watch them and see. After 2, 3, 5 years, they'll hit the wall. Because it's not it. Business itself has a lot of problems. There are a lot of challenges in business. There are a lot of challenges in entrepreneurship. So you would not want to complicate that by trying to be only self-focused and do everything. That you just want to do everything, no matter what lies that you have to tell, no matter how many people that you have to cheat. You don't have to do that. There are genuine problems that when you meet, and when you meet them, try to solve them. But as long as I am concerned, or in as much as I'm concerned, I think that you don't need it. You don't need a common selfishness approach to doing business, to become an entrepreneur, even though that is what we commonly see. So you try the average person on the street with money, and they will take the money because they think only of themselves. Even the people who have, some people in the society who have, still continue to accumulate for themselves. They don't look at the sufferings of their people. They don't look at the humanity that our people go through. They don't look at anything. They can massage figures anyhow, so long as it will help them, because the culture told them that it is only themselves that are important or that is important. Everybody else would have to serve them. And part of it is because we have a culture where people respect positions so much, and the people who are in positions think that nobody has to get there. And so there's an error of people in positions where they believe that if everybody becomes rich, then who will serve them? And I've met a lot of people who believe in this, that not everybody will become rich, not everybody can get to a certain level. Who told you that not everybody can become rich? Have you tried it? And who told you that everybody around you should become poor so that you will serve you? You see, that's the clear indication of selfishness. So why are you not the one becoming poor so that you will serve the other? If you think that not everybody will become rich, why do you think that you should become rich? So it's coming from the culture where when they are portioning positions and they are portioning possession, they put themselves above everybody else. So subconsciously, you have also grown up in the same kind of culture. So they give you something, they give you a position in a company, and instead of you to use the position to lift people up, you're using the position to make sure that people don't get better, people don't get ahead, because you think that when people get ahead, it means that you are failing. It is a common culture. We have to deal with that. So when you start a business, you are coming into the business, you're coming into the entrepreneurship journey with this wrong thinking that you must be the only one at the top, you must be the only one succeeding, everybody else would have to bow and call you boss and yes sir, and you don't show dignity and respect to everybody. It makes you selfish. And that's why when you enter into any deal, you are only looking for what will benefit you, what will help you. That's why the politician is only looking at the contract that he can sign to get millions, in spite of all the other millions that he has stolen. Why? Because it's coming from a culture that only raises himself. They don't think about the dignity of their people. The knowledge is that weak. Is an unintelligent scenario for you to think that for you to prosper, everybody else must fail. It's acute, mental condition. It's not good. It's a bad mental condition for you to think that for you to succeed, everybody else must fail. So I'm talking about selfishness, I'm talking about corruption, and I'm talking about entrepreneurship and how they are related. So when you start as a business person, when you start as an entrepreneur, these are some of the things that you would want to deal with, because they will show up every now and then. They will show up in your decisions. They will show not only in yourself, you would also meet people who would be like that, and they will give you opportunity to behave that way. But because it's in you, you start off, you would want to also respond. And so they put the contract there. You look at the contract, you're very much interested in the contract. Because why? Because it's only going to benefit you. You don't think of the consequences. You don't think of the effect. You don't think of the figures that they have changed. You don't think of the lies that they are telling in the contract. You just want to do it because it will help you to build a so-called successful business, or for it to help you to become rich. That is a wrong scenario. When you meet any situation like that, think not only of yourself, but think of the others and think of the country. Is this the right thing to do? So let's all think of how we can develop our character, how we can develop our ethics, how we can develop the value that we have for people. When you meet selfish and corrupt people, it's because they don't have value system. That's why they are that much high in terms of being self-focused. When you have value system and you value human beings, you value people, you value your country, you are very much concerned about what to do to help people, what to do to help the society, and you are almost all the time prepared to do the best for your people. And so the best of entrepreneurs think like that. They reduce the selfishness, they reduce the corruption, they can virtually deal away with that. In that case, you become the best. The more you go down on the corruption and the selfishness, the more you become a better business person, the more you become better entrepreneur. Because then you start to see clearly, you start to see the value that you have to add to your services, because you respect the people, you respect your country. That's why we create prosperity. If you meet some, we get to hear all kind of business people in our country who are doing all kind of dubious deeds against our country, in a country that is still struggling, in a country that a lot of people still have to have services, better education, better healthcare. People have to have better place to sleep. We have to have access to, the internet, the roads, the water. And yet somebody can go somewhere and sign a contract that they have put millions on it, and the only reason they are doing it is because they are only thinking of themselves. And the country gets to know, and they become sad, they become despondent, they become like, why are you doing that? Now the problem why the business person is doing that, why the entrepreneur is doing that, or why the politician is doing that, is because he grew up in a culture that only push him to be self-focused, and so it's only about himself. At the point where he has to think about his people, about his country, about everybody, he has no tool to pull out from himself, because he did not develop himself beyond what the culture put in him. And so there is the corruption, there is the selfishness, and they are linked. So if you want to build a business, if you want to become an entrepreneur, or if you're an entrepreneur, we all can make mistakes, and we all did make some of them because of the knowledge that we had when we started. And so most of us felt like, okay, when you start and they introduce things to you, well, so far as you can get some money out of it, damn the consequences. No, don't do that. You shortchange. You sacrifice your future when you do that. You would rather want to build a business that is built on ethics, that is built on value, that is built on dignity, that is built on character. In that case, you become a better person every day. And somebody can have big money and still not be able to build what you are building, because you have character and you have a little money. Character itself is also a currency. When people see that you are honest, when people see that you are trustworthy, when people see that your words mean something to you, that itself is currency. So it's not just you looping up something to get the money, but people can also give you something that you would have used the money that you had to steal to buy. People can give you this because they trust you, because they believe that you stand for something. And if you start to believe these things, you become among the very few that have the best of leverage, because almost everybody that you will get involved with, because they came into the business with the wrong thinking that it has to be them or they are failing. They have to cheat or they are failing. They have to lie or they are failing. That is it. So for them, that is business, and most people think that that is business. That is not business. You're just wasting your time. You're changing your future, and you are destroying the future of our country and of our children, of our people. You see, in countries where they have not been able to build the right foundation, the corrupt get away with a lot of things, and that's why we're still developing. The moment we start to get the right foundation as a country, where we set systems to deal with some of these things, you'll see that the country will start to develop. That's the fact. So but if the country is not even doing that, you should believe and you should develop yourself to a point where you have ethics, you have character, your words mean something to you, no matter the difficulty. Even if you meet challenges, your word will still mean something to you. That is how you build business. So stay above the selfishness, stay above what they call the corruption. They don't build anything. If you want to build a house, go through the process to build a house. You work with a government agency, you're a young person. If you want to do something, to work somewhere, do something, get the money. I am very happy with 100 CD that I work for than the 1 million that I cheated somebody to get. It doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't make you a better person. So you deal with the selfishness and the corruption within yourself and within the society and within the culture. You are going to deal with this all the time, where you'll be tempted almost every time, and sometimes you can do a lot of things nobody will know. But the thing is that these laws, like any other law of nature, will come back to haunt us. Like gravity will, if you go against it, you will destroy. So it's in us and it's in the other person. You would not want to be the kind of person who is always compromising, and it has to always be for your interest. It's not good. If you're dealing with people, just try to be honest with them. If you're dealing with business people, just be honest. Don't let people think that, oh, business is just cutthroat, you just have to lie. No, you don't need to. You don't need to. So selfishness is what produces the corruption that we see all along, because they are just looking for what will benefit only them. There's no need for you to live a life where you know that everything that you possess, you have to cheat somebody, you have to lie, you have to maneuver, you have to do this to get that. How proud are you when you sit in that car, when you live in that house? How proud are you when you're cheating people and you're using them to pay your children's school fees, and you're hoping that your children will become better? It's not true, because you're sacrificing other people's future. And once you are sacrificing other people's future, your future will be sacrificed if nobody even finds out. And so it doesn't worth it for you to live 20, 30 years trying to live a lie. Build a business. If a little business that you can build on trust, on honesty, on respect, on dignity, it's far better than building the so-called big business where you know that you deal with everybody who lied, everybody who cheated the country, everybody who cheated everybody. It doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it, because our continent needs people who are credible. And how do you deal with this? How you deal with corruption, how you deal with the selfishness will decide the value that you place on the human lives and the dignity that we have around us, our people. How you deal with this, and you can decide to say that I want to build this. And in stage one, you start to apply that. You may fail sometime, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you may, but at least it guides you to say that, listen, I want to build a business, or I'm building a business that I am going to, be principled. I am going to be honest. I'm going to be, I'm going to handle things that the way they have to be handled. And if I meet the difficulties, I would have to be fair with people. I'm not going to just get into any negotiations where I know I'm going to compromise a lot of my values. It doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth it at all. So it is hard in an environment when the systems don't support the trustworthiness, the systems don't support the integrity. The systems actually support the selfishness. The system that we have here support the corruption. You are trying to do whatever you want to do, but the people who would come, the regulators will come, and they want to use the power they have from the government to frustrate you, to make you lie, to make you cheat. That is the reality. You will meet that every now and then. You will meet the officers, you meet everybody who will push you to compromise on your values, to compromise on everything that you're doing. It is that tough. That is the reality. But at least be aware of them. And as much as you can, as you're growing, you'll be able to say that I'm going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to handle this, I'm going to tell it as it is, I'm not going to tell it as it is. At least be aware that that is not the best way to do business. That's not the best way to build your life. That's not the best way to build your career, where because it will benefit you, you will do it, and you don't care the values that you compromise. It's not, but you can only decide, you can always decide to learn the best form of value, of character. Don't let the selfishness drag you into all the things that we see around. You see a young man gets a new position, he's dealing with a lot of contractors. The next minute he's building 4 houses, 5 houses, and his pay is 2,000. You build 4 houses in a year and your pay is 2,000. What are you? It doesn't worth it. Do you need to sacrifice? Because the people who are giving you the money, sometimes it's not because they have it, but because they are afraid of you, and because they also are driven by selfishness. They would want to give you the money so that you can continue to give them the project. But you took that job not to take bribe. You took that job so that you will be paid and serve your country. But most of these guys do that because that is what somebody has introduced them to. Somebody has introduced you to that kind of lifestyle. Most people didn't start life lying. They didn't start life cheating. They just happened to go there, and because the society had put that self-focus on you, that selfishness in you, without telling you that it's not proper. to do those things. You got there and you met these guys, and you just said, okay. They showed you how you can build a house quickly. They showed you how you can buy Range Rover quickly. They showed you how you can buy the next house quickly. They showed you how you can become so-called rich quickly. And yet you're a civil servant, yet you're a public servant, you're a politician, and they showed you how you can loop up all this, and you just became very happy. And they introduce you. What they have introduced you is like you drinking a poison. It will, once you take it, it will take you out to destroy you. And then by the time it destroys you, nobody will be aware that it was the lifestyle that it took. So there's nothing like living against some of these, living against the selfishness, living against the corruption. So you as an entrepreneur, it will be very tough. It is constant fight. It is constant fight to be trustworthy. It is constant fight to be honest. It is constant fight to always stand for what is right. We have to do that. We just have to do that, because you don't want to spend all your life building a business, and then one day somebody comes to just look through your things and everything is wrong. So it's even with professional lives as well. If you are a professional, just be as honest as you can be. Don't be the one trying to connive with people and cheat people. And what fascinates me is that almost all of us go to church every Sunday too. That's amazing. We go to church every Sunday, and the Monday we compromise on everything. We compromise on everything. We don't even care the consequences that it will have on our brother or on our sister or on our friend. It's amazing. And it is because it's the strength of the knowledge that we have. So most people think that for them to get ahead, they have to lie, they have to cheat, or they will not get anything. No, you don't have to lie, you don't have to cheat all your life. It's misery for you to guess everything around you. You have to lie to get it. You have to cheat another person to get it. You have to connive with somebody. Some people even build houses, they cannot even register the house in their name. They buy cars, they can't register the cars in their name. It doesn't worth it. You don't need it. You don't need it. I would rather not own a house than build a house and put a name on it, because I'm afraid. And so it's the culture. And so when you start your business, just realize that these things are going to come. They are in you, and you meet fine opportunities. People you so much respect, they'll bring a business, and you see the business and you know that this is not good. But if you don't develop that strength and that courage, by the time you see it, you are in a trouble, and you compromise your position. And once you set on that path, it will be very difficult for you to get back. Very difficult. Very difficult. Sometimes when you set up and you get into a cartel, you get into a network, they can map up, they can plan, they can design and get you. But nobody can put a gun on you to lie. So the greed is in me, the greed is in you, the selfishness is in me, the selfishness is in you. And it's all over. It's up to us to at least start to look within again, to say that, listen, if I'm going to build a business, that I swear build a business that I can be proud of. And so I'm going to build business with ethics, with good morals. As much as I can, I have to be honest with my dealings. I don't need to cheat somebody to get that kind of money. It doesn't worth it. I don't need it. I'm going to learn that. And the more people get to know that you are trustworthy, you mean something, your words mean something, people try to, you can get the same money for free that you cheat, that you lie to get. You can get the same contract that you paid the bribe to get. You can get the same contract. So if you do good work, if you stay with the character, if you stay with the honesty, if you learn your trade well, in as much as a lot of things are tough, it will get to a point that you'll be noted. Somebody else will recognize what you're doing. Nature will pay you because you stayed with it, and it does not come quickly like that. Because people are quick to succeed, people are quick to build a business, people are quick. You want to be successful in a minute. In 6 months, you want your business to own everything. That's why you are ready to compromise on everything. But if you're patient and you get to be noted, you go through the processes, the stages, and you get to be noted as somebody who is serious, somebody who is honest, somebody who gets the work done, somebody who understands what he is doing, those things will get you the same leverage that you had to lie to get. After a while, they will come, they will start to come. And the thing about character is that when everything starts to fall, it will save you. When everything is not working, you see people who are corrupt and who are selfish and who are lying, when they are caught, that's their end. Nobody saves them because they cheated everybody, they lied on everybody, they created confusion for everybody, so nobody stands up for them. But if you stand with the truth, if you stand with the dignity, if you stand with the right things, and things hit you, you'll be safe because your character will save you. Your character will defend you. Your character will let somebody call and defend you, and you'll not even be aware. And doors will open to you because you'll be noted. Character is an asset. Character accumulates and builds value. So after a while, you see that your name is here, your name is here, your name is here, your name is here, because you are trying to do the right thing. And because very few people try to do the right thing, now you become, the hottest commodity, because everybody wants to deal with people who are honest, people who are going somewhere, people who are building things beyond themselves. They are not the ones cutting corners every day. They are the ones looking for people like you and people like myself. So it's a decision that you have to make, that if I'm going to build a business, I'm going to be the one who is trying not to be so much self-focused, not to be lying, not to be cheating, not to be creating problems for everybody. I'm going to be the one who will stay with the process. So stay with the process. If you stay with the process, the very things that you are rushing to get today, you'll get them. And you get them at peace. You get them relaxed. Most people think that they just have to get everything today. That's why they compromise a lot. That's why they compromise on everything. But success, as I know, has processes and has patience. That's why not everybody succeeds. And the business is not really just about the money. No, it's about you also becoming better skilled so that you can handle more. If it's just about the money, then why worry? Just go and steal. Why build a business? So my name is Kwabena. I am talking about selfishness, corruption, and entrepreneurship. And I'm saying that when you are born into this culture, you are conditioned to only fight for your interests. Solely because that's what we respond to. So if anybody tries you with anything, you are only looking for your interests. You are not defending for the common goal. And that is what is linked to the corruption that we hear everywhere. And so far, it doesn't matter the professions that people have. The selfishness is very high. The corruption is very high. Forget about the education level. Forget about the position that they have in society. They have to prove themselves. Because most people don't have the philosophy not to be selfish, not to be corrupt. And so if you're going to build business, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, you're dealing with so many difficulties at a time. Every time there's a problem, you would not want to add the other things to it. You would rather want to go through the process and try to be as honest, try to be as corrupt and as credible. You build the platform, you continue to grow and treat people with dignity. Why people get corrupt and selfish is because they think that nobody else lives matter except theirs. But if you look at the other person as more qualifying, as deserving even more than you, you will see that you reduce a lot of the kululu that you are doing. You reduce a lot of the lies because you will value the sacrifices that people have made. You will value what people have tried to contribute to the country. So you want to build a business, resolve to not only look for your interests, but for the interests of others as well, for the interests of our country. And you have to just write. Maybe you can write 10 rules that when you're doing business, you don't want to do. You say that if you're dealing with me, I'm going to tell you as it is. If you're dealing with me, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're dealing with me, I'm not going to over invoice. If you're dealing with me, I'm going to be this. You can have them and guide and let them guide you. If you start to do those things, no matter how many times you are delayed, your future is certain. You'll succeed. Why? Because that's how the momentum is built. That's why the momentum is built. But when you see somebody who's rushing everywhere, cheating, lying, taking corners, signing all kind of things, they're just in haste to become successful. And for them, the success is only when they get the money, when they build a house, when they buy a car, when they get that position, when they get that contract. It's not needed. If you had to lie, if you had to cheat, you have to cut corners, if you have to do all those things to get that, it's worthless. That's not how businesses are built. Businesses are built with credibility. Businesses are built with integrity. Businesses are built with innovation, with creativity, with values for human lives. So it's not that they don't happen in other places. They happen, but when they are caught, they deal with them. And for me, even if the society does not punish, you resolve that I want to keep my peace. I want to keep my dignity. So I would want to build a business that is resilient, that is buoyant, and that respects people, that values the lives of our people. You may not be 100%, but at least fight towards that. Fight towards that. And anytime that you fail on it, just correct it. And after a while, you see that you have become a better person, and you will be in conformity with your own belief system. And you can see that you have peace. There are a lot of people who are doing all this cheating and lying and everything. They can't sleep because the human system was not built for that. The human system was built in harmony so that your belief system and your actions tally. The respect, the honesty, those things, they tally. That's why you can have a very successful business person who is still so very much calm, very rich, but very much calm, at peace with himself and at peace with nature, because they follow their convictions, they follow their values. They have values. They have value system that they follow by. Sometimes they may not even be Christians. They don't go to church. But when they say that I am doing this with you, no matter who comes up, they will not change. Because they have tested it and they know that that is the best way to go. Because when we are caught, they are more expensive. They're more expensive. Whenever we do something bad and we are caught, we pay more. And so, if for nothing at all, those people know that it's better to do it rightly so that you can save more money. And that's how they succeed. That's how they are able to build better businesses. So this is a philosophy that people are learning, and we just have to learn them and do them rightly. And so thank you very much for watching. My name is Kwabena. Thank you. I'll talk to you another time. Thank you.